All right, this is Deanna Marie, and welcome back here to the Clue Seat. And today we're going to be talking about how you need to be careful about your pride. Okay, so let's get started. All right,
The Bible verse today is going to be Daniel
4, verse 37. Okay, so make sure you guys open up those Bibles. Let God talk to you about that. Whatever He wants to talk to you about. You know how I am with you guys getting in the words and word and communicating and praying with Him. Okay. Now, overall today we're going to be in Daniel chapters 1 through 4, and we're going to be talking about King Nebuchadnezzar. Okay, so here we go, guys. This king, he's the king of Babylon, right? God has given him the power to basically take over the whole world at this point. And he has a pride issue. Okay, he has it from the very beginning. And I mean, what person wouldn't when God gives you the ability to basically militarily take over the whole world? Pride would come into play. It would be very hard to not be prideful, right? So at the very beginning, he's going to take over all the world, and he gets to Jerusalem, takes them over, carries them, all the people of Israel, back to Babylon. They're there. They're going to serve him. Daniel gets put in the midst. Daniel has the gift of interpreting dreams, right? And so I have a feeling that God probably tried to communicate, but I can't say for certain. But I would assume that he didn't just try to talk to King Nebuchadnezzar through dreams. But this happens to be the one area of how God can get him to listen, because if he gives him a dream and he doesn't know how to interpret it, and nobody else knows how to interpret it but somebody that Daniel, who's a man of God, well, then he has to kind of listen to what's going on, right? So he gets dreams repeatedly about what's going to happen in the future, but his pride always comes into play. Okay, his pride, he hears a dream about how God shows him how all the different people are going to take over the world and how they're doing that. And he builds a statue and makes it out of gold, basically of himself, and then wants everybody to bow down and worship it. Okay. And the statue is actually made out of the material that in the dream would have been his kingdom, gold, if I recall right. And so he does all of this stuff. Pride. God tries to warn him, right? And then it gets to the point where he crosses a line. He looks out at everything and he says, wow, look at everything that I was able to accomplish, basically. I'm sure great. Okay, he has this pride, right? I hope that that's the first thing I would like you to deal with. I hope that you understand, if God's given you anything, any form of power, any form of financial abundance, your marriage, your everything comes, if you're following God, it comes from him. So it needs to be a reflection. You should be reflecting and have a heart of gratitude, not a wow, look at what I did. Look at, I'm a millionaire. Look at this marriage I put together. Because I hope that you understand that, especially when you're following God, you would not have any of those things unless he said it was okay for you to have them. So you should always have this humble, heart of gratitude, because what is given can be taken away. And when you walk around and you act like, oh, you're so great, and you have this prideful attitude, if you are a child of God, okay, and even if you're not in certain circumstances, he will intervene and make sure that he gets that pride out of you. And that ends up being what happens with this King Nebuchadnezzar, right? Daniel interprets the last dream, and he basically says, I wish this was not about you. I hope that you stop what you're doing and you change, because I don't want this to happen to you. And he doesn't listen. He goes out on his balcony and basically looks out on everything and says, look at how awesome I am. And then from that moment on, God makes him lose his mind. Lose his mind so much so that he's running around like a wild animal. He took away all of his sense of everything that he had and humiliated him, right? And eventually God gives him his mind back when he is able to say, God, you are in charge. You rule heaven and earth. Shame on me for what I thought. He repented and he recognized God for who he was, and he got everything back when he did that. Everything. So, that being said, if you have this, it's very hard. It's very hard to get rid of it sometimes. But please understand that every gift, everything that you're given, it can be taken away. Okay? It's a gift from God. So he's not asking you not to, strut your stuff, whatever you want to be confident, whatever you want to call it. He's just asking you to be confident in the right manner. Be confident in the one that gave it to you, and understand that you have God on your side. That's why you're rolling like how you're rolling. That's it. He's not saying he did not want him to not be king. He didn't want King Nebuchadnezzar to not be king. He just wanted him to say, instead of say, look at what I did, say, wow, God, look at what you did, and you used me, thank you. Okay? So think about that and walk around with that type of attitude, okay? Because everything good comes from him. I can promise you that, all right? So anyways, like, share, subscribe, comment as always, and I'll see you guys back here next time.